what is the difference between an entrepreneur and a builder of a great company?
Well, first, thanks for that very kind invitation, and you're welcome to come mountain biking with me next weekend.
My heart won't take it. I'm too old, Dan. I'm too old.
I think looking at what the difference between an entrepreneur and building a big business, I think you first have to look at the qualities, or some of the qualities that make for a good entrepreneur. And these are gross oversimplifications, but I think some of you will resonate with some of these qualities that I've identified here. First of all, they don't want to work for someone else. They don't mold or blend particularly well. They're impatient. They need to work on their own ideas. They often lack the prerequisites for a truly challenging job, and those would be education and polish. And they start young while they're still flexible, before they have significant financial commitments, but also before they have any experience. The good ones generally have a sales orientation. They're more interested in filling a need or solving a problem for a potential customer rather than devising, finding a market for a clever idea that they have or someone else has. They tend to be overconfident, and they feel that they don't need the security of a regular job. They're generally not in it for the money, rather than sort of the thrill and the excitement. They're passionate, and they fall in love with their ideas. Successful ones have high emotional intelligence. They know how people see them, they know how to read people, and they know how to get trusted and how to bond. They have a disorganized lifestyle, generally. They're creative, broad thinking, and they're not particularly good organizers. Now, if you take these qualities and look at what it takes to build a business, a big business with substantial employment and with substantial wealth creation, almost more than half of those qualities are exactly the opposite of what you want to have. So the trick is, how do you morph from being a starter, someone who's involved with newness and disorganization and the things that are involved with an entrepreneur? How do you morph that into a business? Well, the answer is you've got to change a lot of your innate things that got you where you were when you started. And so I mean, what is important in establishing a business? Well, first of all, you've got to be more orderly. I mean, there has to be patterns and systems. And this is nothing new to anybody, but I think it's important to see how different the skills and the talents and the broad understandings are. You have to get along well with other people, and all people. And even though it's tedious, you've got to do planning. The more disorganized something is, the more planning is needed. It's not the other way around. You've got to be smooth and articulate. You've got to delegate well, and you've got to get the best out of everyone. You've got to chop the jobs up so they're well delegated, and then you have to hire people in a methodical way and not make snap decisions based on how you feel about them. And basically, this is just something you have to do, and I think we'll get in later to how I think you go about morphing yourself into something that's different than an entrepreneur.